Good morning. So I know it's been quite a while, I think it's been another 2 weeks since I last spoke. So we're now 10 weeks away from my first bodybuilding show. Body weight's still coming down. Not too much changes, to be honest. You've just got to keep, or I've had to just keep doing what I'm doing. Calories are at 2,300 and 2,000 around 100 on non-training days. Cardio's up to 35 minutes on the Stairmaster, which was really hard yesterday, and that's the first time it's been like hard to the point where it was like I nearly got off. But we got through it. Training still 5 days a week. Steps between 10 and 12,000. I just kind of I just let myself get whatever I get, and then I probably go for like a 15-20 minute walk at the end of the day, and whatever that adds on, and it's normally between 2,000-3,000, something like that. What the plan is I'm going to kind of take you through the day today. I'm going to show you what I eat. I've already just trained. It is now 10 past 8. I'm pretty sure you don't want to see my training, so I'm not going to bore you with that. I'm going to give you a physique update to show you kind of where I'm at, and I think in the past 2 weeks this is kind of like I'm going to talk through motivation and when people's motivation dips off, and that's when you need to keep going. I'm hoping you're going to be able to see that I feel a lot leaner than I was last physique update, and I just kind of want to talk through how motivation impacts the results and progress people get. I do get asked daily how I stay so motivated, and I also find that it's something that a lot of people say that they really struggle with. So I'm going to try and hopefully shed some light on that, explain a few things, and show you how you can keep your motivation topped up, or even just push through a little barrier. Again, I'm excited to take you along today. So as you can see from last check-in, I am just a little bit leaner. You can see that that's starting to come off. So I think that was 2 or 3 weeks since I last done a video. I'll just give you a quick relaxed, tensed, relaxed, tensed. I'm noticing a bit more detail coming through here, and some of the lower back fat's starting to come off. Relaxed, tensed, and then the same is going to be the same side. And then for the competition I'm entering, you have to do posing. So like the front pose is like that, and I'm trying to make my waist look as little as possible, and my shoulders and my lats look as big as possible. So that's just a quick update. I am going to talk through motivation in the next bit. So meal 1, 110 grams of Cocoa Pops, 50 grams of whey isolate, which is just a purer form of whey. There's less carbs and less fat in it. I have majority of my carbs, or all of my carbs, around training. This is very high carb, high protein, this meal. What I normally program in for clients is high fat, high protein. I find that I don't actually feel full until later in the day once I have some eggs or like get my fats in. Because what happens with carbohydrates is they shoot up and your body can burn them off a little bit quicker than fats. And if I was to put some fats in with this, what that does is it actually like slows down that spike, and then and that spike helps shoot protein around the body, and adding fats like slows that down, and we don't want that. We want it to help aid recovery. As you can see, my mouth's starting to fill up with water. I am starting to now feel spells of hunger. I'm going to do a big post about hunger and fat loss and how you shouldn't probably feel hungry straight away. Again, I just want to kind of take you through the day. I don't need to explain and dictate or anything to you. So high carb, high protein meal to start. This is just to help with recovery and repairing muscles. It also tastes amazing. It's one of my favourite meals, but it doesn't fill me up. I'm going to probably watch a bit of YouTube. I probably won't really watch it, I'll just have it making noise. I'm waffling now, so I will speak to you soon. Hello. So I ate about, I don't know, 20 minutes. So after I ate, I kind of had I just chilled out for 5-10 minutes. I replied to a couple messages on my phone, but as you can see now, I'm going on the laptop. Monday is a check-in day for online clients. I've got this 2.5 litres of water here. I'm boiling the kettle because I'm going to potentially have a coffee. I'll be here for a couple hours and then I'll probably eat another meal. I do try and eat about every 2 hours just because it like spreads it out, and what that does as well is that prevents me from getting really hungry. Like I said, I am starting to feel like little short spells of hunger. But yeah, I'm gonna get on with I'm gonna get on with some work on the laptop, and I'll catch you soon. Meal number 2. I actually started eating this, and it did look much more presentable before I started eating it, and I totally forgot I was doing this. Again, this is just 65 grams of rice. I'm trying jasmine rices now. Normally I have basmati, and I quite like this jasmine rice. 100 grams of chicken and about 50 grams of spinach. Very bodybuilder-esque meal, but it's just nice, easy to get in, and it fills me up. Again, another high carb, high protein, low fat meal, and it is now 10 past 12, so I did a bit more work than planned, and I had a little visit there from my sister and my nephews. So if my face is red, it's because I've been wrestling. I will check in soon. I will probably talk a bit more about motivation before the following meal, and then we'll see where... Hello. So it is now, what time is it?
10 past 1.
10 past 1. It's now 10 past 1. I've taken a little lunch break and I have the beautiful Lisa T with me. We're going to go for a walk, just get some like afternoon steps in, but I thought I would just quickly take this chance to kind of talk through what motivation is, what I believe it is, and how some of us sometimes struggle with it. So motivation, I think the best definition for motivation is the desire to want to do something that we see worthwhile. However, motivation is not like on off, it's a spectrum. Sometimes we're really motivated, sometimes we're just kind of motivated, sometimes we're not motivated, and sometimes we've got zero motivation whatsoever. And then I think that's when we start to change the belief that it's worth doing, and then we just don't do anything towards it. What we all kind of want to do is become inspired, get motivated, and then go through some steps and stages to get everything, or get whatever it is we need to do to automaticity or autonomy, or it's automatic, so that we just do it without actually having to think or have those little mental battles that we have with ourselves. I want to kind of talk through a few bits of motivation, but I will need to use a whiteboard to do that. So I'll do that when I get back. I do just want to let you know that you're not going to be motivated all the time. I'm not motivated all the time. I have to do certain things. Again, I guess a lot of it for me now is automatic, especially training, especially eating healthy, getting my steps in, doing cardio. Like it's automatic for me now. But I wish I could plug in from my head to your head, like the Matrix, the feeling that I have, or like the understanding and knowing that if I do these things I will see the results. And I'm not going to get to see them right away, but if I do them for long enough, the results come. And I think a lot of people haven't experienced the results to then believe that what they're doing is working. Some people aren't doing the right thing, or some people are going too hard and they can't keep up or sustain what they're doing, and that dips motivation. Again, when I get back I will talk a bit more about 3 little aspects, and I will try and make them short, about motivation and working towards your goal. So this is going to be a quick message because the people that do the grass around our flat are here and it gets really noisy. So 3 egg omelette, 2 hex sausages. This is my higher fat meal. I always really look forward to this. Like, I'm really salivating now. It is 10 past 2, so after I walk I've done a bit of work and then I've come and eaten this. Lisa made it for me, so thank you very much, Lisa. I will get on to the motivation in the next clip. Hello. So again, I've just finished off that egg and hex meal, egg sausages meal, and I said to you I wanted to come straight in here and start doing and talking about motivation and different aspects of it. So one, I'm going to explain to you just now a thought process that can maybe help you still tick boxes when you can't be bothered. Another part is the steps from inspiration to making things automatic, and I would also like to cover on motivation and how it kind of flows and why people don't really see or get the results that they want to because they give up just slightly too soon. And I'm going to try and explain all three of those. I don't want to make this video too long, so I'm going to try and do this as quick as possible. I want you to think of yourself at A and you want to get to B. There's days when you get motivated, when you get inspired, you know it's easy, and it's easy to do all the little stepping stones needed to get to where you want to be. But when people can't be bothered, that's when they normally don't take the steps. And if you can get yourself to still take the steps, even when you can't be bothered, if you still take the same steps, you will get to the same place. And this is something that I think I've gotten pretty good at now. Like, there's a lot of days where I can't be bothered getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning. There's a lot of days where, like just now, I can't be bothered going and doing my cardio. But I will go do it. I will just do it. I'll get started. And then once I'm started, I see that, do you know what, actually I can keep doing this. It's not too bad. And then I keep going. So what I want you to try and think of with this little diagram is when you want to do it and when you don't want to do it, if you still do what needs done, you're going to get to where you want to be. I hope that helps. I hope that gives you a little bit of an insight. I'm going to wipe this off. I've got a team meeting with Callum and Becca. We're going to discuss the week and potential issues that we've come across, and we're going to discuss how we resolved them and how we dealt with them. Again, they're both the other coaches that are working with TF Health and Fitness. If you do want to find out more about working with them, just get in touch. After that meeting with them, I'm going to head and do my cardio, which I will take you along with. I will 100% do a before and after photo of that because cardio is killing me just now. And then what I'll do is I'll show you my next 2 or 3 meals, and I will also go over the 2 other parts of motivation I want to touch on. Have a good one. So I'm going to touch on step 1 of motivation, and that is inspiration. So we all know that inspiration is something that either fires us up, makes us want to do something, or draws us towards wanting to do something, or it could be just draws us towards something. And again, I guess there's 2 sides to this sort of inspiration, or I think, and I don't want to call them like a good and a bad side, but there is like 2 sides to it. Potentially me being sweaty could inspire you to want to get up and go do some fitness. Seeing some clients' progress photos could cause you to want to do something, get up, take some steps. I know that Wimbledon, when that's on the telly, I'm sure tennis participation rates go up like 100% or something. The Olympics, everybody starts getting a bit more sporty, and they're things that inspire people from like looking up, I guess. And I guess that's a horrible way to think of this, but looking at like the best in the world, or potentially someone that's slightly better off than you. And then there's the other side. You watch the Paralympics and that really fires me up. There's a guy, I can't remember his name now, it begins with a Z. I think he just gets called Z, and he's got no legs, and he's like the national champion wrestler in the States. Potentially clients that are all in better, like worse shape than you are at the starting, that get in good shape, maybe inspire you more than someone that's already in pretty good shape that gets in better shape. And there was one more thing with that, but it just slipped my mind. Also things like, I guess, like negative health implications can sometimes inspire someone to make changes in their life, to start working towards becoming healthier, losing fat, getting fitter. So that is a quick talk on step 1, inspiration. So my next meal is, it gets called Pro-Oats. It's protein powder porridge, and I've put in some dark chocolate, so just carbs, fats and protein. This is probably my favourite meal. It really fills me up and it tastes incredible. I've got Perform Whey chocolate brownie batter, I think it's called, in there. It's really nice. Supposedly the carrot cake's the best flavoured protein powder out there, but I've still not tried it. So, continuing on with this whole idea of motivation being up and down. The actual next step from after inspiration is motivation. And this is when we feel all fired up and we sign up for Couch to 5K, we buy all the bands off Amazon, we sign up for a personal trainer, whatever. Like, we're motivated, we want to do or follow through with what inspired us or pursue a similar path to what's made us get that like fire in our belly. However, we all know that motivation can drop off, and I will come back to that. But during that time when you're highly motivated, and this is, you almost want to get motivated and then skip that step and go straight to the next one, and that's intent and commitment. So you want to commit to something long term. You want to understand that it's going to take probably a little bit longer than what you think. And like I say, you're going to you pretty much jump that step of motivation and you don't rely on it. You just know, you know what, I'm going to commit. And then once you commit and you've got the intentions to keep going on and on and on and on, the next step after that is discipline. And what you need to do with discipline is, even when you do think, do you know what, I can't be bothered, or nah, it's going to take too long, or oh well, those bands don't really do anything, you still use them and you still try and you still keep going. And I think those three parts go together very quickly. Motivation you pretty much skip. As soon as you're highly motivated, commit to something. Commitment and intention, once you've got those two and you've decided where you're going to go long term, become disciplined. And honestly, self-discipline is like a superpower. I describe it as like, I get this like laser focus when I've got high levels of self-discipline. Like, it's like nothing can put me off, nothing can slow me down, nothing can change where I'm wanting to go. And I see clients get it as well, and it's fantastic. And they say a similar thing. They just say, I'm mega motivated. And again, they'll say the words like motivated, but it's because they're committed, they've got intention, and they're disciplined to keep doing those things, that they do feel that what we would all perceive as motivation stays at a higher level. I have 2 more steps after this, and I have 2 more meals, so I will check in back with you once I get to there. So, I done it again. I started eating and I forgot that I needed to record my meal. This is just a chicken salad, so just high protein, low carb, low fat. I've got some salad, some cucumber, and we've got this like kebab shop chili sauce that's really low in calories. Did you get it from Farm Foods? Mm-hmm. From Farm Foods. I really like it, and it does actually taste a bit like a kebab, or it makes your salads taste like a kebab. So I touched on last time I seen you, you want to kind of skip motivation, commit and have intention of getting to where you need to do, getting to where you want to be and what you need to do to get there. And after that was, it's slipped my mind now. It don't matter. Whatever it was, you can skip back and look back. The next one's habits. So you get better habits. Habits are things that you do repeatedly. A lot of people have bad habits, and they come under things like smoking, drinking. You want to start creating good habits. So things like potentially waking up a little bit earlier, going for a walk, going to the gym becoming a habit. You can even tighten up bad habits. So a lot of people, a very common one is kind of dieting Monday to Thursday night, and then Friday kind of kicking the rear end out of it, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then just kind of going wild and just not eating and undoing their hard work that they've done Monday to Friday. There's still one more step. So that step is you want to create good habits. And I still can't remember what the other step was. I can't believe that slipped my mind. It don't matter. I just spoke about it a minute ago. I've still got one more meal. I'm going to touch on the final stage of this kind of behavior change, motivation shift. Show you that last meal, and then I'll give you like a final demonstration of why relying purely on motivation isn't the best, but I want to show you why you shouldn't give up when your motivation dips. Hello, so this is the final part that I want to kind of explain and demonstrate. That step that I missed was discipline. Can't believe I forgot that. Then habits, creating good habits. And then finally, you want it to become a passion. You want it to be something that you love and that you enjoy. And then that does genuinely make it easier. Like when I say I love training, I honestly do. So it's never a chore. It's never, like I say, that there's days where I am unmotivated and I'm like, oh, I could do with not going. But I do love it so much that I'm able to convince myself quite quickly. The discipline kicks in. It is habit now, so normally I'm finished and walking home and I'm like, oh, geez, I've already trained today. Or the cardio today, like I put on my Instagram, that like on Sunday, it was really hard. Like it was the first time I nearly had to stop. But then today when I was on there, I was like loving it. Like I was enjoying it. I was like dripping, well, you seen I was dripping sweat. But it was just like, I don't know, I just, there's sometimes that happens and it's being able to push through. So just to quickly like recap, I guess, I've got this here. Inspiration, we've got good and bad, and I don't like that term good and bad, but I think I can't think of a better way to describe it. If you can, please just do comment below. And I think of it as like the bad sides, like rags to riches. Like we all love that story, like that Cinderella story, and that can inspire us to want to do something better. Motivation, that means you just want to do it, and that's when motivation spikes up. But at that point when it spikes up, you want to commit. You don't want to just think of like, right, motivation's high, I'm going to write this. And that's what I'm going to draw for you in a second what happens. After the commitment and intention, once you've made that commitment to yourself, that promise almost that you're going to do it and get where you want to be, you won't rely on motivation as much. You will still, but it takes time. And once you get through that time, you'll realize that you don't rely on it and you don't need it because of discipline. Discipline steps in and tells you, it's like you telling yourself, like, no, you are going to do this. And I've posted about this on Facebook and on Instagram about you've got to parent yourself. You've got to take charge and be in charge of what you do. And you could call it self-love as well, I suppose, where there's things that you shouldn't do, but we all still like doing them or enjoy them, or the temptation of it does become too attractive. But you've got to have that self-love to be like, right, no, I'm not going to do that. After the discipline is habits, so you do it so much that it becomes habit and it's just part of your day, part of your week. And then finally passion, you make it automatic. That's that automaticity or autonomy. And again, down the side here, adherence. You have to keep going before you can get to the next step. It's not like on day one you can decide that you love it and you're stuck. You have to go through the inspiration. You have to re-inspire yourself for a couple days to get that motivation to stay high to do it. But once that motivation is high, you've got to make that commitment. And again, I suppose I could put in like a little sales pitch. That's when you should sign up to online coaching or one-to-one sessions, because then you've made that commitment. And then after that's the discipline. You decide that you're going to, you dictate to yourself, no, I'm going to do this. And once you do that enough, it will just become a habit. It'll become part of your week, your day. And then finally passion. You will start to love it. Once you, I'm at a point now where I don't care about the results. Like I genuinely don't. I really don't. I'm excited to get stage lean and go up on stage. But having to like do cardio, having to sweat that much, having like a set plan. I love the feeling of feeling lighter. Like I messaged Vaughn, my coach, Vaughn, VW Physique. I messaged him a few weeks, 4 or 5, I think it was maybe 5 or 6 weeks into this, once I dropped a bit of weight, that the feeling of being able to run across a road and like it didn't hurt my knees and ankles was like so good. And again, that was me gaining and being like nearly 30 pounds heavier than I've ever been in my life. For some of you, there are more health issues, and you will see that like once you start exercising and eating healthier and those issues start to reduce or even disappear, that'll feel better than any number on a scale or any way you look in a photograph. Honestly, the way you feel will always feel better than what you see or portray in the mirror or on scales. And again, I can't emphasize enough that like you can do it, you just have to keep going. But what I want to talk about now is what happens with a lot of people. If you imagine this is motivation, motivation, I'm terrible at spelling. This one, and then this is time, skills, or results. at the start here, results are really low. At the start, motivation's really high. But what ends up happening is motivation comes down like this. But during this time, skill, results, time passes by and it starts going up. But this point right here is when people normally quit. But what ends up happening, if you can push through, if you can allow yourself to commit and stay disciplined, create habits and then find that love for it, is your motivation will end up picking back up. But you've got to remember that it's still lower there, still lower there, it's still lower there, and then it will start to go higher. Don't quit here. Don't quit when motivation dips. Motivation is not going to be the key to you getting where you need to be. Pushing through, committing to yourself, enjoying the process is how you're going to get there. I do still have one more meal. I'm not going to keep waffling on. It's just a bowl of yogurt with some Eating Mess protein powder in it and a couple strawberries. I really do hope that helps, and I do hope it inspires someone out there to keep going when motivation dips or they don't feel like they want to do it anymore. If you've enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. Share it if you want. Comment down below what you think or anything that you'd like to hear from me. Thank you so much for bearing with me. I know this is going to be quite a long one, I'm sorry. I've enjoyed this. This was a day of my life, I suppose, and have a good one.